Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen here with Daniel Mangana, and this is your daily dose of happy. We're so happy you decided to join us today. And we are continuing getting to know our new listeners on local cable access and people who are tuning in periodically on PRN. We've been getting more attention from people on PRN. And so toward that end, we are also talking about stuff from a more simplified level than we often do. We usually get pretty deep in the advanced stuff, but I'm trying to keep things a little bit more on the simpler side. So, Daniel, I was doing something that I often do when I'm trying to figure out what the next topic is. I was trolling, except I troll for something good. I don't troll to create problems. I troll to find topics. So I was trolling for topics. And I found one. And somebody had posted a question in one of the Facebook groups. I thought, oh, this is a good starting point. So I thought I'd bring it up. I think it's a she. She says, has anyone manifested their dream career without knowing what they wanted to do in the first place? Which is a good question. You know, I don't know if you've ever even taken a stab at that one or if you have any direct experience, but what do you think?
How do you know it's your dream? It's like the lottery. Is it a dream? Is it a nightmare? Find out next episode on The Show of My Life. It's like, that's one of the most interesting. I don't know. I'm a pragmatist, as you know, Walt. I'm not really into the fluff. Let's, get to the brass tacks. Why would you not just take some time to find out what you want first, or at least go out into the world of jobs with playful curiosity? Have an adventure. Is this my job? Is it not? And sometimes it's going to change. The work that I did before was my dream. I loved being a creative problem solver. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Then the time came for me to come up and bust people's chops on LOA Today. And here I am today.
And you do it so well.
Thank you, sir. Who knows where I'm going to be in another 3 years? Maybe
that's right.
I'm going to be in space. I don't know. It's all what it is.
You have promised that before. You and Alex both said you wanted to be out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if that actually comes true.
And I put it on my 50 list. I actually rejigged my 50 list the other day. Yep, I rejigged my 50 list. My movie is now updated with images from the Virgin Galactic plane as my space plane.
Wow.
And I'm on the waiting list to do the MiG Flout Edge of Space. I'm on the waiting list.
No kidding.
It's really cheap. It's like 19,000 euros. So like, wow. Is that it? I'm going to go and do that.
That's pretty surprising, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to go and do that. So you get to go for 90 minutes. You get to spend at the edge of space to see the curvature of the Earth. And then they take you on some aerodynamics and you go sonic boom. You do the sonic boom. And then they bring you back to the ground. So
cool. That does sound like
hoping
fun.
next summer, because we're going to be in Europe, take the baby to go and see my family. Then we're going to head to Russia and see Olga's family. So I'm just going to pop to Moscow and go and do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Assuming that's different.
The waiting list doesn't go further, but space, here sure. I come.
I mean, lots of things we have to assume, assume the COVID thing is done, assume all the stuff that's out of the way needs to be out of the way, but that's part of what manifesting
another
is.
World War. Yeah, right. Another World War. I don't.
We'll try to avoid those.
Seriously, anyway, now is a time when I'm grateful that I don't have to test my manifesting law of attraction powers by being in the US, because I'm having panic attacks at night and I'm not even directly affected by it. I haven't slept a couple of nights watching the news. What's going to happen? Is it going to kick off? Is it going to be a civil war? I've really had to use my tools. It's been really interesting these past few days.
Well, it's even more interesting when you live in the country and you're trying to use your tools. Let me tell you, it's a good time to practice, actually.
You're a better man than me. You're a better man than me. I saw mess coming, and then with all the other stuff this year, and I was like, do you know what? I'm cancelling my green card. I'm not coming. Sorry. I cancelled. I said, no, this is not my life. Because I mean, here everything's chill, and I know it's just what I've created because there are people having a maniacal time here too in anxiety and fear. But sure. I've been able to create my bubble here, so I'm staying in my bubble. I'm staying in my bubble until I'm resourced to come out of the bubble.
Ultimately, that's what we all need to do anyway, regardless of where we are. I mean, you're living in paradise in the southern tip of Baja California and Mexico, but really, no matter where we are in the world, and no matter what our situation is, we need to be creating our bubbles, because that bubble is where all the magic happens when we're focusing on the stuff that we really need to focus on. So, I mean, I'm kind of with you on what this person was asking about, although I do think it is a valid question to ask in terms of, universe, give me some clues about what I would find to be a dream job.
Mm-hmm.
Show me some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Bring some opportunities to me
We
to
can
take a
follow your
look at.
joy as well. Um, Follow your joy. As you follow your joy, then more things are going to become available to you to find joy in. And then that's going to be something you could start to focus your attention on, and then to apply the law of attraction to attract more of that stuff. And I find that if you just set a container of joy, then any job can be your dream job.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I
If
mean, a
your life
dream
is a
job is
container of
really
joy.
a dream job is really a job that is a dream to do. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the one and only job.
And is there the one and
I don't
only
think
job?
there is. No.
And we're constricting infinite possibility once again, are we not?
I mean, that's basically what my father's generation did. He worked one job with one company for his entire life. That was, so if it wasn't his dream job, he was in trouble. So,
And if it wasn't his
you
dream
know,
job, well done, Sonny. You're doing it anyway.
yeah, right. I mean, he put in, this is back in a day when people would do what he did. He worked 44 years for the same company.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah,
can
that
you
doesn't
imagine
happen
that?
anymore.
Nah,
That isn't happening
that's long
anymore.
gone. Yeah, that's definitely the deep dark past.
Yeah.
But I will
In
say
the good
that
old days.
in the good old days, yeah, the good old days weren't always all that good. But we
Yeah.
won't go there.
I never really understood the good old days stuff. In the good old days. In the good old days.
I like the way you just kind of let that hang. That just kind of describes it very nicely.
Yeah, it's like where were the good old days? Was it the 90s when people were beating up homosexuals? Was it in the 80s? Like when you had hate, like was it in the 70s? Like when the civil, like when was it? When were these good old days? I don't
Well,
know
I
when
haven't
these good
spent a
old
lot
days
of
were.
time focusing on them, to be honest, so I don't have a
Yeah,
good answer.
yeah.
I
I
found that
don't know.
every time that I focused on anything in the past, it always led me down a trail I didn't want to go. So I said, screw
Stay in your bubble of
that.
now. The bubble of
That's
now.
right.
Remain in the bubble of now.
That is the trick. That's the whole deal right there.
That's
Because
it.
now is all that we really have anyway. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where everything is. That's where all the
Mm,
manifesting happens. That's where all the good stuff happens. That's where our entire
precisely.
lives happen. Yeah.
Precisely.
I will say, though, that
Mm-hmm.
back when I really did not know what my passion was and
Mm-hmm.
didn't really have a clue, I did actually put out there, and I'm realizing this now as we're talking. I did put out there, give me some ideas. And what it turned out was my passion was to do this podcast. But I didn't know that at the time. I knew I had just been exposed at that point to the Secret movie and I wanted to learn more.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know how. I didn't know who to
Mm-hmm.
talk to. I didn't feel like I had any resources. So I just kind of put it out there. And at the time, I was still, I was in the middle of my failing independent career as a web designer. I was just going right down the toilet. It was, I mean, I was surviving, but barely,
Mm-hmm.
and not enjoying any of it. And I mean, I felt like I was in a tailspin. Well,
Mm.
I was in a tailspin. Let's be perfectly honest. And the crash was coming.
There was some spinning tails in the tail. It was happening. Okay.
But I did put out there that I wanted some idea. And in the course of doing my web design work, I had to do lots of research online for various things and stumbled
Mm-hmm.
upon the idea of podcasts, which I'd kind of heard about at some point. But that just kind of got the whole thing going. So I asked the question. I did a little, not real research. I just kept doing what I was doing. And then I
Mm-hmm.
paid attention to stuff that came my way and started to make a connection. And in making that connection, it just kind of kept building and building until finally I said, well, I wonder if I could start a
Poco or
podcast.
Poco.
Poco, yeah, a little bit at a time. That's pretty much what it is. So, yeah, I guess we were talking directly to this person who posted, yeah, you can manifest your dream career without knowing what it is, but it's also great to find out what it is
Mm-hmm.
and, kind of ask the questions and explore things. I mean, I like what you said, trying out different jobs. I just try out almost anything because in my case, my passion wasn't really a paying job. It was just what I
Mm-hmm.
love to do, and so I didn't know how to do a podcast. So what did I do? I just tried to do it anyway. So, well, let's figure this thing out. I don't know.
Do we ever know anything before we know it?
Not really. No.
It's just like everything that we end up being at a place of acquaintance with. We were strangers at one point,
That's
and
true.
when we detune, as the stream would say, detune
Yes.
the charge around the separate. Oh my God, it's this. Well, we're going into a new experience. We're meeting a new thought form, a new energy form. Okay, let's play for curiosity again. Just giving it a try and seeing what happens, and remembering that, guys, none of this is all that serious. We're not getting out of this thing we call life alive. Nobody's getting out of this alive.
That's right. So what do
Nobody.
you have to lose?
Exactly. There is literally zero to lose by just going for it.
Yep.
That's it.
And plus, it's fun.
Exactly.
I mean, when you really get down to it, when you're trying these things that you've never done before and you're not sure how to do them, and you just kind of try to do them anyway, yeah, it's a little bit uncomfortable at first, but especially if it turns out to be something that you do feel a passion for, it gets fun pretty quickly. I mean, I found that even though my first episode of this podcast that I did with my wife, we did it together on our 13th wedding anniversary, and it was an absolute disaster. Everything went wrong. I mean, every technical problem you could possibly have, we had, and then some.
Such powerful manifesting.
Oh yeah, huge and powerful manifesting. But it didn't make any difference because I couldn't wait to do the next one. I mean, that's what I discovered. You know, it didn't matter that everything went wrong. My wife didn't want to keep doing it, but I did.
She's like, "Yeah, I love you, babe, but I'm out."
Oh well, to this day, I mean, she likes talking about this stuff, but to this day, she won't do a show because she's convinced that every time she does a show, there's going to be a technical difficulty, and it started back at that show.
If that's what she believes, that's what she's going to get.
You know what? That's exactly what she has gotten. We've tried it numerous times, and every single time there's been a technical difficulty. I'm not kidding.
What
That's the way it's gone.
The law of attraction works. Ta-da!
What were the odds, really?
That's great.
She'll listen, but she just won't do the show anymore. One of these days, I'll kind of surprise her, and then she'll find it'll work, and I don't know what she'll think at that point. It'll upset her world.
Maybe just sit and maybe just quietly record. Pop the mic behind the sofa. Quietly record all your conversations.
No, I wouldn't do that to her.
Secret sessions with Team.
Actually, I'm encouraging her because we're still dealing with limitations due to COVID. I'm encouraging her. Let's reach out to some of our friends, people we like to talk to, particularly people we like to talk to about LOA, and let's do some Zoom sessions or some Skype or something like that. And each time I suggest that, she says, "Oh, that sounds like an interesting idea," and then I take some steps to go there, and there's always a reason not to. So we do it like little increments at a time. We micro shift on that as well.
Micro shift on that one. You know what? I think there's something to be said for just the idea of just being okay with the bits of our experience that are decidedly human.
Yes, that's
just
true.
Being okay with it. Okay, this is me being human. Like I said, with my stuff with the elections, I don't have a direct stake. I don't live there, but I'm like, oh my God. Who's it gonna be? What's gonna happen? And I've given myself leeway. I've given myself license to kind of enjoy it for a little bit, and then it's 2:00 in the morning.
That's not a bad approach because in a way, what's going on, and of course, people are realizing that we're recording this a few days after Election Day at a point where we still don't know who the winner is, so to speak.
I know who the winner's going to be.
You do? Okay. Well, don't let the cat out of the bag.
The cat's already out of the bag. I think we know. I mean, it's not.
You realize the moment you say anything, you alienate half the audience. So I'm just saying.
Look, regardless, to be honest, I think you've got two complete and utter toe rags to choose from. It's like, so if anybody
come on, tell us what you really think.
If anybody thinks I'm on someone's side, then you probably not be listening to any of the Tuesday or Thursday shows where I'm a feature.
Probably true. Yes.
I'm all for the third way, whatever that is, But I mean, really, it's just been a bit interesting. There's been some interesting stuff happening. And there's been some interesting, the time that I knew, and the thing is, people are going to hate me and say I'm pro one or the other. They're both toe rags, okay? So let me just caveat that.
You basically alienated the entire audience, rather than
the entire audience, all of you. because just for the for the inevitable time that in 10 years time they're going to splice this over another thing, another video, and do a voiceover and say I said something I didn't. Both your presidential options are toe rags. You have how many hundreds of millions of people, and this is all that you had. Great manifesting, guys. Go LOA. So, but when I saw like this video, because I was all on the Twitter. I was all on the Twitter, like, oh, what's happening? What's the conversation? And there was some video, and I was really upset. There was this African American woman who was being pushed around in this crowd of people, in MAGA people. And there was like Trump over the top. Yeah, just throw her out. There was a time when people used to know their place, and then they cut to another video, probably from the 30s, of a black guy getting beaten up. And I was like, oh my God, oh, this is terrible. They were right. He's a white supremacist. And then I scrolled a bit down. It's like, no, they literally spliced one of his events where he was kicking a KKK person out of his event.
Oh my, wow.
And they took the voiceover of that and made it look like he was telling people to beat up a black woman.
Ugh.
When I saw that, I was like, America is lost. We're lost. we're lost. Because even if everything they say about Trump is right and he's the narcissistic, whatever, crazy lunatic, you literally have gone to these lengths. If someone's really bad, why do we have to demonize him? And there was even like other stories that I've had challenged, because I had stuff about Biden, this and that, and that's been challenged by listening to people on the Biden team and doing my own independent research. And then stuff like Trump this, Trump that, and I've just done my own independent research. It's like, you just got two completed utter twats, really. And two groups of people that are so determined to show the twattiness of the other person that they're prepared to go to really stupid lengths to do so. I was like,
yeah, that's true. That happens.
I'm glad I canceled my green card.
Well, you know what this is really? This is really a reality TV show.
Have you not seen the memes? Welcome to the season finale of USA, like America, like
I
America,
haven't, but that sounds appropriate. Yeah, that's pretty much.
And there was another one that when the debates were going on, someone said this is the most trashy custody battle ever.
Oh, jeez.
It was just like, really, this is all that you had. This is all. We have one of these two. That's it. Then you've got one guy who's just whoever he is. Then you got the other squad that like, yeah, we're going to force everyone to do stuff to protect them from themselves. It's like, I don't really. You've got financial bankruptcy or moral bankruptcy, but both of them are moral bankruptcy. The financial bankruptcy is happening anyway because it's been happening for the last 20 years. So it's like, either way, it's going to be the same thing.
I just have to say, I'm glad that you're finally figuring out that politics is a lose-lose game for everybody.
I minored in when I was doing degree. I minored in politics. So
you did, okay?
Yeah, politics, philosophy, economics. Well, first of all, international financial economics. Then, when I moved to university to study, I did my second year online through business learning. I did PPE. I was like, this is just people getting paid to pretend that they're doing something for people they don't really care about. This is interesting. Like, let's give people the illusion that they've got some kind of choice in while we just kind of just use our power of creation to create a reality where we've got the power. It's like, all right.
Well, I will throw in at least one semi-positive in the conversation here, and that is both of these guys, for all of whatever their other stuff is, they are, consciously or not, they're master manifestors.
Oh, listen, Biden's on his third try. Is it his third try to go for president? Second or third?
Yeah, I think so. Third, yeah.
And he's done it. It took him a while. It took him 40 years, but he got there. It's like, well done. Good on you, Joe.
And same thing with Trump. Trump has been an amazing manifestor. I mean,
one
of the things we talk about. Oh, yeah.
He knows how to use energy. A person that's publicly loathed this much. My friend Renee, who's my mentor over at Reality Transurfing, the ITI, International Transurfing Institute, she always makes reference to, so in Reality Transurfing, we talk about pendulums, which are thought forms that you can either takes your energy, or you can use the energy of it. And he literally uses it's watching him use all of this energy.
Oh
And he's
yeah.
just said, yeah, I'm going to go for it. Like he
Hmm.
set the intention. Everybody laughed at him. Nobody took him seriously. 4 years later, he's this close. They're not going to let him have it, but he was this close to doing it 2 times in a row. Wow.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. And throughout his entire career, I mean,
Mhm.
we could point to all the things that went wrong, and we could
Mm.
possibly even point to the reasons why they went wrong. But he had all these things that went wrong, and it never stopped any of them. He
No.
just kept going anyway. You know,
Yeah.
he had like what, 5 bankruptcies. He's been accused of all kinds of
Relentless.
stuff. Yeah, it just keeps going.
Relentless.
Just keeps going.
Relentless. Would I want to be best mates with him? I wouldn't even want to be mates with him, to be honest.
No.
He's not really my slice of cheesecake. But for me, and people may be upset about this, but I have the ability to dissociate my opinion of a person from my respect for what they've achieved. Let me say this again. I'm not saying how they achieve something. I'm not validating how people do something or even what they do, but I am called to give a level of respect to someone who sets out to create something and actually does it. Are there times when, yeah, that was really dark? Of course, there are times that was really dark, but I'm just saying, in terms of in a world where a lot of people are just blaming, giving away their power, surrendered to a like of lack and not achieving, when somebody actually pulls up and gets it done, you have to acknowledge that. And I even say that to people who've done me wrong, right? People that have done me wrong, I have to say, well, I have to respect the fact that you did it. You had the win. Ultimately, balancing forces are going to come and get you, but you had the win, so I respect that. So
And that's what I always remind myself of whenever I see somebody who is successfully attracting what they want into their life, even if it's really, really miserable. I remind myself, yeah, but there's always a consequence.
yeah.
And this is an important key point. The word consequence gets misused. It's
Mm.
usually meant by most people as being some sort of a punishment. That's not what
Mhm.
consequence is. A consequence is what follows. So you have A, and some consequence follows. It is the thing that follows A, whatever A was.
Mhm.
Now, what happens when something follows is something that we evaluate in terms of whether we like it or not. So that's what
Mhm.
we often think of consequences as, well, this is a negative consequence. Well, that just means we didn't like it. Usually for very good reason. Don't get me wrong. It's not like the
Yeah.
reasons are bad reasons. It's just that's what that really is. But if we understand that there's a consequence to everything, then literally, if we have candidate A who manifests a whole bunch of stuff that we don't like, and it leads to consequences that he doesn't like, is there a surprise? Not
Mhm.
really. It's consequences and people evaluating the consequences. Now,
Mhm.
how do we actually apply that in your lives? I don't know about you. I think I do. But
I've got some idea about it.
but for my perspective, I make it a point to manifest things that have consequences that I like.
Mhm.
To me, this is an important deal. Now some people, they don't seem to feel that same way, or maybe they actually like these things I wouldn't like. I don't really know, but
Mm.
that's on them. That's the
Mm.
beauty of being a conscious creator. We get to decide what it is we're going to focus our attention on, and those of us who actually give some thought to it, decide to focus on things that will actually lead to consequences we like.
Mhm.
What a novel concept.
Do you know what? As well, just as you were speaking about how this starts to extend beyond ourselves, right? I just don't really get caught up in other people's stuff. It's like, all right, well, I've decided to create this. This is the outcome. What am I going to do with that? I'm not going to look at other people's stuff and their outcomes. I'm going to just stick with what I have direct choice based dominion over. Now, I believe that we consciously create all of our reality, but I believe that we have secondary and tertiary creations that come as a result of what we do. I don't believe that I control people, but I do believe that the variation of people that I witness and experience and my perspective of them is what I have something to say about. So I just focus on that and focusing on that and focusing on how everything that comes in can be used to serve and expand versus, oh my God, this happened. the world is coming to an end. Or, oh my God, everything. All right, cool. This has happened. Oh my God, I'm being punished. This is karma coming to get me. Or, okay, this has happened. Am I resourced to deal with it? No. Okay, how can I resource myself to deal with it and expand through it?
Which is the survivor and thriver mode, really.
I'd say.
Yeah, you can't really thrive unless you're willing to work through the dark stuff that comes along, because dark
Yeah.
stuff happens. I mean,
Yeah.
that's part of the reason we're here, is to deal with stuff like this, because that's
Like,
what we're here for.
everything is perfect. Everything is perfect. Everything's lined up. So that was perfect. That's what you wanted? Really? I believe that I don't believe that everything is a lesson. I believe that everything can be a lesson.
Sure.
Difference. But I seek to find a lesson. What is it they say? I never lose, I either win or I learn. And I just seek to embody that.
I think it's a good approach, because
Mm.
from my perspective, what I'm really trying to do at all times is to find, how can I accept stuff that I don't like long enough to find what I do like about it, so I can let go of the stuff I don't like. Because that's really what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get to the point where that stuff that I don't like isn't bugging me anymore.
Mm.
And that's not about perfection. That's about choosing where I'm going to put my attention.
Mm.
You don't have to do it perfectly. I certainly don't. I'm not very good at talking about lack of perfection. I'm a winner. I'm really good at not being perfect.
Well, I've been working at this a little while. I've developed a bit of a knack for it. Oh, wow. Great stuff.
Yeah. Funny too that you mentioned the idea of being perfect.
Mm.
The thing that I notice whenever I think about that concept is that the people who talk about perfection are the same people who will find everything wrong possible about themselves. Like, wait a minute, hold on a second. You're focused on attention to perfection, you say, and then you tear yourself down at every instant possible? I mean, if it were me and I were trying to attract perfection, I think I'd actually, focus on myself as being perfect. But you don't seem to do that, guys. Why is that?
Maybe that's perfect for them.
Oh,
There's the drum roll. Yeah.
But seriously, that's always been really ironic. And I can laugh about that and say that because that was me.
Mm.
Back then, when I was dealing with that web design business I didn't like, and everything was just crashing to the ground, I
Mm-hmm.
was the ultimate perfectionist, and I hated every minute of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was misery times 5,000 squared. I mean, it just was not a good place to be. And it was all because I couldn't find anything good to say about myself. Everything that didn't work out right had to be some flaw in me causing it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that didn't play out the way I wanted it to was just proof that I really wasn't very good at this stuff.
Mm.
And I mean, talk about killing yourself quickly.
It's like, oh, you could have a little bit of joy. Fancy some joy instead? Cheeky bit of joy? Cheeky bit of expansion, maybe? I don't know. I know what my choice is going to be. So, yeah.
Yeah, I should have had you as my expansion pusher. Because that's what you're doing. Have a little joy.
I got that expansion. You want that expansion? $2. Okay, I take a hug. All right, let's do this. Maybe I'll back.
Oh, that's great.
Oh God. I don't know.
See, I was thinking earlier, we were by the way, I didn't mention to people, Alex isn't able to join us today. She's hopefully going to be back next week. But I was thinking, geez, without Alex here, are we going to be able to laugh as much? No problem there.
Alex just doubles down the laughter.
Yeah, really.
Even in her situations, it's like, time for a joke.
Here we go.
Don't worry, Alex. I'll have a vegan burger.
Uh-oh, inside jokes again. Here we go. All right. Well, let's get back to something that the audience will actually understand what we're talking about, because that goes down a path that they have.
That's going to go
yeah
over their heads and far away.
So let's go back to what that person was asking about. They were asking about their dream career, right? And so
Hmm.
we've given this hypothetical person who's hypothetically listening
Hmm.
some ideas about how to actually find their passion
Hmm.
and what to do with that passion, and to recognize that you want to be persistent, keep going, no matter what
Hmm.
happens with that passion. And well, let's do a follow up on it. Let's assume that this person actually does find their dream career,
Hmm.
but they haven't got it yet. What do you
Okay.
do?
Well, you know what you're working towards now. You're a lot further ahead than someone that's, I want a dream job. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to get it because I believe in the law of attraction and rainbows and fairy cake and the plant based diet.
I like that last bit. That was a nice touch.
That's a good one, right?
That was good.
Um,
Yeah.
it's like, if you know, but you're not there yet, at least you know where you're going. You've got a map.
Mm.
Now we can start to plot out a route. Now we can start to resource ourselves and start to move towards it.
And very often I found that whenever I had something like that that I did want to pursue, probably like, I don't know, 9 times out of 10, I had no idea where to start. None whatsoever. And on those occasions where I actually tried to map something out without having any idea where to go, I would be really good at driving myself crazy doing that.
Mm-hmm.
The only times that I actually got anywhere was when I said, okay, I don't know how to get anything like that. I don't know how to even start that. So, well, universe, will you just send me a clue? Give
Mm-hmm.
me some idea what to do here. And inevitably, I get a clue. Half the
Mm.
time I miss it, and I have to ask for it again. And sometimes I have to do that 3 or 4 times before I finally notice, oh, I've been getting clues. Oh, yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay. But then you do get the clues.
Mm.
And the weird part about the clues can be that they don't seem to have any direct connection that you can see to where it is you want to go. So you have to kind of follow them anyway just to see what happens.
I recorded a podcast today with someone. I did two podcasts today.
You've
I don't
been
know. I'm
busy. You're a
podcasting a
busy
lot.
guy.
Yeah, we're podcasting a lot right now. It's lovely. I'm with a great agency that connected me with some really amazing hosts, and we're just creating some amazing
Nice.
episodes. Um, we're redoing the website at the moment, so we're going to pop all the guest appearances, and we're going to put a thing about LOA today, so people can come back and come and grab the app.
Fabulous. All right, there it is. The LOA Today app. You got to take advantage, download it, and use it if you haven't been downloading and using it. It's on iPhones and Androids. So, go out and go
Go
look
get
for it in
it,
the Play Store and the
get
App
it,
Store.
get it, get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's the tangent coming back.
Haha.
Tangent into a segue. It's a tangent way.
Okay. Boom. We like that one.
Somebody's got to do it. Yeah, and we're talking about microshifts, and I gave maybe one of the most concise descriptions as to how surrender, intention, and manifest, like pure LOA, come together in the idea of microshifting that I've ever given. It's like
Really?
I gave some gold on that pot. Yeah, that one normally someone's got to be like, oh wow, sorry,
That's all right.
I don't know why it's ringing. It's on silent. My phone's on silent. Sorry. I gave the most concise one of that I've ever given. Stuff that I really reserve for like the primo stuff. I mean, the people that are in the top stuff get that, and it's understanding that the power of microshifting is amazing enough already, but when you I don't know,
Your phone is doing its own microshifting.
my phone is on silent.
Doing.
I don't understand why my phone on silent is still ringing. So I'm gonna have to put it on do not disturb. Microshifting in and of itself is great, but when you overlay on top of that with each microshift, you surrender and allow the law of attraction to bring you the next step instead of you trying to work out what it is, magic happens.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's true. And it took me a while to learn to trust doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is sometimes, if you're the kind of, micro planner that I was for the longest time, that's a bit of a shift. And you have to kind of let go one day and just say, okay, I'm just going to try it and see what happens. But boy, does it work. It pays off in ways that you can't even begin to anticipate at first. So yeah, I second the motion entirely. Oh, and by the way, I got to tell you, you'll want to be here next Tuesday, because Dave Strickle has something he has to do next Tuesday. I've got a special guest coming in that you know very well. Debbie Garcia is going to come in and do a
Debbie
show.
G's coming.
Debbie G, yeah.
I was on her
So
podcast last week before last.
I did the one after the day after the one that you did. So we were back
Oh,
to back
brilliant.
there. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. She's fabulous. High energy, just an amazing story that she's been through. In fact, we were comparing stories. We were actually doing our stuff about the same time. We were going through the same crash at the same time, same rise at the same time. It was like, parallel.
Ah.
But yeah, totally fab. So, mark it on your calendar and join us because I know you'll enjoy it. And I told her there was a chance you'd be there. And she was just psyched. She was just totally psyched.
Yeah, I'm pretty, I only, let me check my diary. I only miss if something's like super duper. I know I'm there. I'm around. There's nothing happening that day.
Cool.
The next day I'm on then a course for 3 days, but Tuesday I'm around.
All right. So, nope, good. We're booked. Everything's good. That's good. So, yeah. So getting back to the whole thing about stuff coming in when you are trying to get that dream job or that dream career, yeah, just let the stuff come. And the other thing I really think is important is when something comes along and your first reaction is, I don't know if that's really it. Try it anyway, just for one day, for an hour.
What's the worst that can happen? Well, depending on what the thing is, let's put some caveats here. Children, be safe, kids.
Yes.
Be safe, kids, and get consent. Follow the law.
If we have to suggest that, then you may need to go back to square one.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking there's some really weird law things happening that allow things that maybe shouldn't necessarily be around. Follow a moral code of decency.
Yes, that's good.
Follow a moral code of decency and be sensible. With that being said, give it a try. Try it on the side, see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, the worst that happens is you wasted an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what else happened?
But was it a waste if you've got something for the memoirs?
Well, actually, one of the best 1 hour jobs I ever had, and literally it was for 1 hour, was when I was, I think, 19.
Yeah.
And I took a commission sales job selling packages of meat to families. And I did it for 1 hour, and that was all I could take. It's like, done, I'm out of here.
Well, it's just like the stream would say, you get to define your preference.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like,
and it was worth it.
Definitely know
because that 1 hour experience, has been the source of so many stories. Some of which I've told here on the podcast. I'm not kidding. I learned a whole lot about commission sales just by doing that one job. The first one being I hate commission sales. The second one being I hate just talking to people I don't know. And the third one being once I found that I do know somebody, then I like talking to them. I learned a bunch about myself just by doing that 1 hour job.
And then a blessing it has been.
It has been.
La, 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 it's a blessing. Hey, not crooning, but we're definitely swooning.
Okay. I'll leave that one there. I don't know what to do with it.
You don't need to do anything.
Oh, good. Okay.
Just enjoy it.
That's why I need like an Alex injection, but we'll get that.
Yeah, Alex would come and just say, "Oh, man," she'd come and give me. Maybe she's the gatekeeper for my madness.
No, actually, I think she's the instigator of your madness.
I was trying to be nice because she isn't here, but
she does. That's part of her beauty. That's part of her joy.
Oh yeah,
She finds ways to just insert just the right thing that's funny, and it sets you off, and you start doing something on top of that. It just piles on one on top of the other.
Round and around it goes.
Oh yeah, it's great. I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. We're covering for her absence pretty well.
We're covering. Yeah.
Pat on the back. All right. So we got this the series of kind of wacky events coming in as we're exploring dream job options. And then we actually get an experience. We try something and we like it.
Nice.
But we're afraid to pursue it. We're not going to get it, we feel, or we're not qualified for it, or they'd never hire me because there's 25,000 other candidates, or all the different reasons we come up for saying, well, that's not going to work out, even though I really love it. What do we do with that? How do we change that?
Me personally, I say, well, glad I could have helped you get this far. See you later. I stay out of it after that one. Like, you've literally found your dream job and you've got excuses, then you don't really want it.
That's one way to look at it. Yeah.
You don't really want it. And the mind always wins.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this lifetime, I know my friend Mira Kelly, she wrote the Hay House bestseller, like 20 million copies sold worldwide, Beyond
Wow.
Past Lives. And one of my favorite lines to quote from her book is, when you see someone who's not following a spiritual path or who's rejecting the spiritual path in this life, don't look down on them, because for all you know, they could have spent 1,000 lifetimes in mastery and now they've come to experience the other side of it. So that really helped me not to judge people and not to have ideas, but just to be like, okay, that's your path, because I don't know what you've had before. I don't know if maybe this is all the catalyst to your stuff. All I know is that I'm not giving up my energy to be a part of your dance around it. Like, if you want it, cool, I'm here to support. And if you don't, bye, Felicia, I'm out. I'm gonna go continue doing, because I'm not, that's not for me. I'm not really.
I hear you. That's fine. I think what I would say to that person, if that person brought that up, I would kind of assume the other way, just for the sake of discussion, until proven otherwise, that they really do have some interest. They're reluctant to give it a shot. I'd say give it a shot anyway.
Yeah.
Keep going until you find that you really don't like it.
I mean, I'm not just going to walk away and leave them in the trenches. I'm not going to be like, okay, well, bye. I'm going to offer something like parting words as I go my way. It's like, oh, okay. So here's some things you might consider. See you next lifetime. That's me personally.
That's all right. There's no wrong answer here, so that's okay. I think that's
Thank
fine.
you. I feel validated by this statement.
Well, you are, yeah.
Happy.
I'm just saying I would do it a little differently, and the way I would do it would simply be the way I do it. I mean, I would literally say, okay, so you found something that you think you like, and you're not sure you're going to be able to get it. What do you have to lose? I mean, you could, on the one hand, give up on it right now, and you won't get it. Or you could actually follow through and try to get it, even though you're competing against 2,500 other people and not get it. Or there's actually a third possibility. You could go for the job against 2,500 people and you might actually get it. Ooh, hadn't thought of that one. You could actually get what you were looking for.
Stranger things have happened in other dimensions and this one also.
Well, someone's got to get that job.
Why not you?
I mean,
someone's got to.
Yeah, someone's got to get it. Why not you? It could be you. It really comes down to, are you willing to take the steps? If you're not willing to take the steps, then we can't help you. I mean, that's pretty much what you were saying. We can't help you. But if you're willing to take the steps, go for it.
But this is the thing. You must be willing to take the steps. If someone comes and says, oh, you know what? I see that I'm not feeling worthy of it. I want to work on that. Very different to, oh, it's never going to happen for me. Those ones, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry that you feel like that, but glad that you found it. And then I go. If someone's like, I really want to feel it, but then let's sit down, let's break bread. Let's talk it through. Let's see what your limiting belief is. Let's see what new narrative. Let's look at some tools, look at some resources. I have all the time in the world for someone that wants. People sometimes get freaked out by how much time I've got for people that want to change. I've been getting active on LinkedIn over the last couple of months and sort of building up connections on there. And I set up calls to talk with people and they think that I'm trying to sell them something. I'm like, no, I literally just want to see if there's anything I can do to help you. What's going on with you? They get freaked out. And I'm like, yeah, check back in with me. Let me know what's going on. And sometimes they tentatively email back like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. And here's some more free resources. Go and help yourself. Blah, blah, blah. Because I've got all the time in the world for people who want to change. If you think that I have time to hold space for you, like going through your river of change, I'm not that guy. I don't. That's not me.
Well, plus also, I think what you were running into with LinkedIn is literally just chock full of people who are trying to get an immediate sale on whatever their service is. So that's what they're used to.
Which I'm finding. So I do see where the fear is. I'm qualified to do LinkedIn lives now. So I do a live every Monday at 2 Eastern every Monday live.
Nice.
And it's been part of the narrative. Like, say, like, guys, I'm literally here saying, what can we do to help you? Like, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not that guy. Try it out and see. Give it a try. You'll see there's nothing to fear. I'm not going to do that. So it's cool.
It reminds me of I guess it was sort of a recorded workshop that Jack Canfield, the author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, did, and it was recorded for television as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you see him just giving this presentation to a group of, I'm going to say like 40 people, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point during the presentation, he reaches into his pocket and holds up a $50 bill,
Mm-hmm.
and he says, "I have this $50 bill, and it's here for somebody who wants it." And then he
Mm-hmm.
just stood there, and he stood there, and he continued to stand there. And then finally, a young woman from the audience got up, walked over to where he was, grabbed the $50 bill out of his hand, turned and walked back and sat down. And he said, "End of demonstration."
Mm-hmm.
She was the only one in the audience who recognized, I have an opportunity, and took it.
Mm-hmm.
All the other people were trying to rationalize all the different reasons why they shouldn't take it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between just going for your dreams and waiting to see whether you should.
Mm. You know, I think so often we look at the gift horse and are waiting for it to bite.
Mm. Yes.
We have an opportunity and we don't recognize the opportunity because we're so caught up in the lens of fear and the lens of the past versus being able to see something for what it may be here. And this is something that I'm working on too, this whole thing of letting go of past reality experiences from people and allowing things to be reknown in the truth of a new now, free from the distortions of the past. Now, obviously there is being sensible, but even sensibility has to move out of the way when we come back to universal law, which is I can only experience what I'm a vibrational match to. And the second that I come to something from a place of fear, I automatically open myself up to that negative experience that I don't desire. Mm-hmm. So all of those people who are looking for the catch, you know, he's going to do this, or fear, I can't go on stage, they miss an opportunity.
That's right. Yeah. And it's a great object lesson because, I mean, after she did it, I'm sure everybody in the audience said to themselves, "Oh, I could have done that." It was easy to see when somebody else did it. The challenge is seeing it when you're the one who's going to do it. And then just doing it, whatever the it is. Doesn't matter what the it is. It's you see the opportunity come along and then you just do it. You don't think about it. One of the worst things you can do is think about it. I mean, you in what you said there, you illustrated beautifully all the different ways you can talk yourself out of it. That's what all the pre-planning stuff is all about. It's about talking your way out of it, as opposed to just going with the impulse. Like, I think
I'll just see what happens.
I'll just go up and grab that $50 bill. He did say it was there, ready for the taking. So I think I'll just go take it.
And what's the worst that could have happened? Honestly, what's the worst that could have happened in that situation?
He pulled it away. He told her to sit down. Something almost, it's so minimal that, what's he going to do? Throw her in jail? I mean,
there's no mortal danger.
There isn't any.
There's no mortal danger. Like the heavens are not going to collapse and all the angels descend to hell on account of you giving it a try. But we have this negative bias towards something that we don't want happening. And we get so caught up in that negative bias that we're not ready to give happiness, joy, positive outcomes a chance.
It's not every day you get somebody holding up a $50 bill, but every day I find something comes along that I may not even remember having asked about. I don't know if we've had this conversation, you and I, but it's a conversation we've had here on the podcast many times about, we put out requests, we put out intentions, stuff shows up, and we forgot that we put out the intention, so we don't connect it. You know what I mean?
Who's that happened to? I don't know.
Me?
Has that happened to anyone? I don't know if I can think of anyone that's happened to. Scratching my head here, struggling to find a connection. Well, really am.
Well, then I guess I'm the only one.
Yeah, there's rings somewhere, but the dots aren't really connecting. I don't know. Maybe Alex will know. I don't know.
I hear Alex's laugh in my head as you're saying that. But but it's true. I mean, how often do we just miss the stuff that we asked about, you know?
Yeah.
And it's actually a time, I think, to declare victory when we do notice that something showed up, and then to give ourselves credit for another victory when, without giving it any further thought, we say, "Oh, that's what I've asked for. I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go grab that $50 bill or whatever it is."
And you know, the crazy thing, here's the thing, when we start looking at the reticular activating system in the brain and how it functions, do you know how many people are just an awareness away from everything they've been hoping and dreaming for?
Oh God, now you're scaring me.
Right. Yeah, I've got to apply. I need to go and do another program. I've got to go and do an ayahuasca ceremony. I need to go and do a soul retrieval or whatever else people are doing these days. I need to go and do some mushrooms to connect with my ancestors, or just open your eyes. It's right there. The opportunity is right there. The person is right there under your nose. And when we look to the reality of reality, that everything is here and now, everything's under your nose, everything's there. It's just a matter of that little shift. And sometimes the brain physically has shut down from witnessing it. But when we're open, playful curiosity, ready for the adventure, saying yes instead of no, nodding instead of shaking our heads.
Well, that's where life is exciting. That's where it's fun.
That's the edge.
Yeah.
That's the edge.
And that edge, well, it's where all the magic happens, first of all. And second of all, it's just fun. It is. It's just fun. It isn't the first time. The first time that you try doing something on the edge, it's a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Maybe the second time too. But after you do it a couple times, every single time, it's fun.
I was born to do this. This is what I do. Yeah.
That summarizes it. That's good. I like that.
Thank you. I've been working on that one.
That was a good one. Well, but you hadn't done an actual croon, so you had to kind of, slide that in anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. So we've been helping this hypothetical asker, and we've helped them discover their passion. We've helped them to figure out what the dream is. We've helped them to recognize that the opportunity for the dream came along. Well, that leaves one thing: enjoying the dream career.
Do it.
This is like a 4-step process, right?
Allow yourself. This is beyond dreaming, beyond dream jobbing.
That's right.
beyond recruitment.
Well, actually, there is a fifth step. There's a fifth step. The fifth step is you start doing the dream job, and it isn't the dream that you thought it was.
Oh, that was a bit negative. You just took a dream and made it a nightmare. They found the dream job and they're enjoying it. And then you're like, step number 5, it's all horrible and wrong.
Not at all. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as when I took that job doing the commission sales, selling meat to families. When I first took that job, I thought, oh, thank God I got a job. And then I started doing it. It's like, I don't like this job at all. And that's okay. That's okay. That's part of the process of finding what your dream job really is. You tried something, it seemed like it'd be good, and it wasn't good. So do you go home and cry? Or do you just find what the next step is? What's the next thing that you're going to try?
The crying isn't really going to get you somewhere, though.
Not really. No. And for whatever we might have to say negative about the people we were talking about earlier, the Bidens and the Trumps of the world, they don't give up that first time that the dream doesn't work.
And that's why they're able to take over the world. Yay!
You don't even have to take over the world. Just take over your own world. That's enough of a job right there.
I was being facetious.
Yeah, I know.
This is you, Daniel. Hello. This is known.
But seriously, that's really all it is. This is like a variation of your microshifting concept, which is you try it and it didn't work. You try another thing that didn't work. You try another thing and that one worked. Oh my God.
But you know what? The ability to get to the point that it does work comes from transcending the things that didn't and accepting that they're just another step. 10,000 ways. Right. Like I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000. I went through 10,000 steps to the one that does work.
Yeah, exactly.
And I say to do 10,000 steps a day anyway. So,
Well, plus I'm all this time I kept hearing the same thought in my mind. I think it's a quote that's attributed to Henry Ford, but I'm not really sure who said it. The quote is, "Whether you think you can or whether you think you can't,
You're
either
right.
way, you're right."
Mm.
Which is it's actually kind of a warning. Like, okay, you sure you want?
Which one do you fancy? Which one do you want? Tell me, tell me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's what it is. You
that's
know,
what it is.
yeah. See, you get to decide. How cool is that?
Mm.
We get to decide what
Yep.
we like. We get to decide what it is that we're going to think about something. We get to decide whether we're going to believe in it or not believe in it. We get to
Hmm.
decide whether we're going to follow through or not follow through. We get to decide
Hmm.
every step of the way. How much more freedom do you want?
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
seriously, we have all
Exactly.
the freedom in the world to pursue this stuff. We
Yeah.
have there's nothing holding us back except us.
Nothing at all.
And that is the ultimate in personal responsibility.
Crystal drop. I'm gonna
I
drop
love
it.
it.
Manual crystal dropping.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. We got it. All right. Well, this has been really good. Thank you very much for helping us with this little inspired virtual help session to the person who didn't actually ask us, but we helped them anyway.
What can I say? I just show up when I'm not asked and answer with what I got to say that nobody cared to hear from me.
And the
That's what
beauty
I
of it
do.
is there are hundreds of listeners who found, wow, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So thank you very much.
Love you guys.
All right. Love you too. Thank you very much, live streamers. Thank you especially to our podcast listeners as well. And we will see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.